Monday Night Raw starts off with Obafemi. He comes down to the ring, cuts a very short, simple promo, and he basically ends up saying that the ruler has arrived. And he's 100% right. He has arrived after his simple, very short match with Brock Lesnar with him putting down the beast for good. Yeah, he has arrived, and I'm very excited to see what they do with Obafemi. Very curious to see what they do next with him because he already called out Roman Reigns, but I don't think they're going to pull the trigger that soon, which I do think is a good idea because if he's beating Brock Lesnar, then beat Roman Reigns, I don't know what else you can really do with Oba. I do think you need to save some of these matches for a later time. Not saying we got to wait 5 years for it, but we do need to save it a bit for a later date. But nonetheless, man, I just love that Oba is being treated because Obafemi was one of those people where I wasn't worried, but he was one of those people where I were a bit curious to see how they would book him because I thought they were going to do like the very slow push with him, kind of similar to what they did with Braun Breaker, where they slowly pushed him, put him in the mid card, and then put him with the Seth Rollins thing, where he's in the semi-main event, but he's not the main event attraction. They're pushing Oba like he's about to be the next guy. Like they're pushing him like he's going to be in that Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes seat very soon. That's the way they're pushing him, and that's the way they should be pushing him because Obafemi, he has it. He has it. He has the aura. He has the look. He has everything you want. The crowd is is so over with him. It is crazy. The moment that theme music hits, everyone is chanting. Like, it is crazy how he has just the crowd in the palm of his hands, bro. So I'm very excited to see what's next for him, man. I can't even predict what they're going to do next for him because it wouldn't shock me if Roman is his next match, but it wouldn't shock me if they have him do some filler feuds in between. So whatever they do with him, I think it will be fine because they clearly shown that they look at him as a priority. So I have full confidence in them booking Obafemi, so I can't wait to see what's next for him. Afterwards, we do end up getting a women's tag team match between Rio versus the Kabuki Warriors. This is mainly just continuing the story between the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky, with Kairi Sane potentially turning on Asuka. This is the last and final match and interaction that Rio are going to have due to Rhea Ripley winning the WWE Women's Championship on SmackDown, so she will be transferring to SmackDown. Rio do pick up the victory, and then you end up getting a slight moment where Asuka is, of course, blaming Kairi Sane for the loss. So that's really it. I don't really know what to really say here because, again, this storyline has been just a rinse and repeat over and over again. Every time Rio or Io Sky interact with the Kabuki Warriors in any way, they just lose. So outside of one victor, there was one victor. I think maybe it was the go home show to Raw, but there was one time where Kairi Sane did beat Io Sky. But other than that, 99% of the time, the Kabuki Warriors are just getting their ass whooped. So it's like, I can't really take them seriously as a threat. And then they just constantly repeat the same thing with Kairi Sane and Asuka so many times where it just loses its effect on me. But we'll see eventually where this goes. That could be a potential backlash match. They could get on the Mania card, so that could be a backlash match between Io and Asuka. Kairi Sane could potentially turn on Asuka during that match. So we'll see eventually how this plays out. But overall, this was a solid match. Don't have the highest hopes for this for Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors storyline, but I hope it eventually ends soon and it picks up soon because it's just kind of dragging at this point. Soon afterwards, we do end up getting the debut of Ethan Page. Ethan Page officially makes his main roster debut. He is officially a Raw member. He ends up confronting Javon Evans on Raw in a backstage segment after Javon Evans was trying to confront Penta for the IC title. So we end up, the history between these two guys in NXT between Ethan and Javon. This ended up becoming a match later in the show. They've been on a good solid match. During the match, though, Rusev ended up coming out, trying to attack Javon Evans. Javon Evans ends up getting the upper hand. This distracts Javon. This allowed Ethan Page to pick up the victory to take advantage. After the match, though, Rusev attacks Javon Evans. I think eventually Penta gets involved and tries to attack Penta, but Javon Evans ends up helping Rusev in the end, and Rusev ends up standing tall with the Intercontinental Championship. I like this. I like that they did not just have all the people in the ladder match just disappear. I like that they're still having some of the pieces there still going after the IC title. And I'm assuming next week we're probably going to get Ethan Page, Rusev versus Javon Evans and Penta. I'm assuming that's the route they're going for next week. But I like this. I like they're inserting all of these guys in the IC title picture. They could easily feud for this for like a couple months, honestly. And I think this is the right way because I can see either guy winning. It benefits all guys, even if the guys were losing to Penta, it still gives them proper TV time. It's elevating them with giving them great in-ring matches. Plus, no one really loses any credibility. This is a great way to introduce Ethan Page as a heel. And I like that the crowd did recognize him. The crowd did know who Ethan Page was. He got a good reaction. So that's really good because you don't want to come from NXT and get no reaction that no one knows you. So I'm glad that the fans knew who Ethan Page was. This was a great way to introduce him. I can't wait to see what he does on the main roster. Afterwards, we do end up getting a CM Punk and Cody Rhodes segment. It did start off with CM Punk just talking, just going on and on and on and on, basically saying that one loss doesn't define him and that he eventually is going to get back on his feet. Then Cody interrupts. They have a good, conversation, basically supporting each other's, and then eventually CM Punk starts alluding to having another championship opportunity, looking at Cody Rhodes' championship as he's talking to him. Cody recognized that and basically ends up saying that anytime, any place, call your shot, basically. So we'll see eventually when that match happens. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I'm assuming that's probably going to happen bare minimum at SummerSlam or WrestleMania, because the original plan was supposed to be Punk and Cody. So I could easily see them holding this off until next WrestleMania, but I could also see them doing this at SummerSlam. They're not doing this match anytime soon. They're just not. Plus, Cody's on SmackDown, Punk's on Raw, but to be fair, I don't think that really matters because based off the main event, that clearly doesn't matter. The brand split really don't matter. So we'll see eventually how this unfolds. We'll see eventually what's next for these guys, but I don't think this match is happening anytime soon, but I just think this is just a tease for the future eventually whenever this does happen, probably at SummerSlam, probably, or at WrestleMania. But nonetheless, I can't wait to see when this eventual feud and match happens. I just hope that whenever they do this feud, they don't do the celebrities. Please don't. Just have these two go at it with their history, with their friendship. Just have them two go at it. Do not add any celebrities. But nonetheless, this segment was fine. It was just very unnecessary, in my opinion, especially because it was way too long, in my opinion, as well. Just to tease that they're going to have a match in the future. Like, this could have been like a 4-minute segment. We would have been fine. Now we end up getting your women's world heavyweight champion, Liv Morgan, cutting a promo. Basically ends up acknowledging her being, world heavyweight champion. She ends up thanking the Judgment Day. She even thanks Stephanie Vaquer, ends up saying that Stephanie Vaquer reminded her of who she is. Basically that she's the top woman and that she's going to continue to be the top woman on Raw. Then you end up getting So Ruka comes out, tries to give Liv Morgan some praise, but Liv Morgan find that very disrespectful, and she basically wants her to leave her ring, which I'm actually in agreement of Liv Morgan here, because I get when wrestlers want to give praise to a wrestler, but for me, it's like, you can just do that backstage. You don't have to interrupt my segment just to give me praise. You could just do that backstage. But So Ruka doesn't back down. She's like, look, if you want to fight, we can have a match. It doesn't matter to me. Adam Pearce comes out, make the match official. They have the match. This was a really good match. Really, really enjoyed this match. Towards the end of the match, though, you end up getting Zarya interfering in the match, end up attacking her, of course, due to their match that's going to happen tomorrow, the last woman standing match. This allowed Liv Morgan to hit the Oblivion to pick up the victory. Afterwards, though, we do end up getting Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan having a bit of a stare down. This is what I expected. I'm expecting they're going to have their rematch at Backlash, which makes perfect sense due to Stephanie Vaquer getting cheated in the match. So it makes perfect sense for her to want revenge. Now, I'm curious to see if they're going to have interferences in that match, or is Adam Pearce going to ban them from ringside? Curious to see how that plays out. Zarya and So Ruka, like them being on Raw, like them, getting some exposure. This does make me worried with Zarya, though, because, again, I think Zarya should be winning that match, but I feel like they have more of a priority. I can't even say the word. They just have more of a focus on So Ruka, so I just don't see them having her lose. But she did lose on Raw, so having her take back-to-back losses, maybe it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but who knows? But nonetheless, this was a great segment overall. Really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see Stephanie and Liv. Let's just hope they just get more than fucking 8 minutes. Like, let them cook. Let them at least get 15 to 20 minutes, especially because So Ruka and Liv Morgan just had like a 12-minute match, but Stephanie and Liv couldn't. So let's just hope that if they do have the match at Backlash, they get some time to cook in the ring. Moving on to the division, we end up getting Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman basically ends up mentioning Brock Lesnar, ends up showing his love and respect for Brock Lesnar. He ends up mentioning when WWE does the intro, the then, now, and forever, he ends up saying that y'all guys got to remove Brock Lesnar from the now and put him in the forever, because he'll be forever remembered, be forever the biggest and baddest beast there ever was in the WWE. Basically showing his love and appreciation for Brock Lesnar, which I thought was great. And really, this is really confirming that Brock Lesnar is officially gone. So congratulations to Brock. Hope him for a really, peaceful and I hope he enjoys his retirement and thanks everything he has done for WWE. Then he ends up giving the mic to Logan Paul. Logan Paul basically ends up mentioning that nothing at WrestleMania changes the vision, that it doesn't really matter because they're still the WWE Tag Team Champions. Braun Breaker eventually comes out. He was mentioning Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins does eventually come out. He attacks the Vision, but of course the Vision ends up getting the upper hand due to the numbers game. The Street Profits then come out. They take out the Vision. Then you end up getting Seth and Braun. They brawl, but Braun Breaker does get the upper hand, hitting Seth Rollins with 2 spears, if I'm not mistaken. And he stood tall. I like what they did here. We get the return of the Street Profits and we get the continuation of the Braun and Seth feud, which I'm hoping to be a great feud. I just hope it just doesn't drag on for too long, but nonetheless, that feud should be great. The Street Profits looks like they're going to be on Raw, which I don't mind. SmackDown have enough tag teams on SmackDown to survive. I'm just hoping that they actually put effort into their tag team division. So I'm not going to get my hopes up for the Street Profits because WWE with Triple H booking, we already seen last time they try to push the Street Profits. It just doesn't go where every time they try to push them. Try to push them with the Bobby Lashley and the Pride thing. That went nowhere. They end up doing this weird thing with the Wyatt Six where one of them might turn on each other, but they didn't do nothing with that. So I'm not going to get my hopes up when it comes to the Street Profits because clearly Triple H just doesn't know what to do with them when it comes to booking. He doesn't know what he wants. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm not getting my hopes up, but overall segment I thought was great. We end up getting a singles match between Finn Balor versus JD McDonough. JD McDonough betrayed, turned his back on Finn Balor, siding with the Judgment Day. So Finn Balor, of course, wants his revenge, feels like he got betrayed by JD. This was a good match. This was a good match. Finn Balor does end up picking up the victory. After the match, though, Dominic Mysterio does attack Finn Balor, which is very annoying and frustrating because I thought this was the end of the feud. I thought it was, especially because you brought the Demon. Like, if you was going to bring the Demon just for them to continue the feud, why would, like, bro, this doesn't make sense. Why would you bring out the Demon just for them to continue the feud? That makes no sense. Like, I don't mind them continuing the feud. Well, I don't want them to continue the feud, but if you wanted them to continue the feud, why bring the Demon back? Just had him face him as Finn Balor and then later bring the Demon. Not like it's just you're going backwards. This is like when and they had a street fight. Like this is like when they did the Damian Priest and Aleister Black thing where they had a last man standing match and Aleister won, and then they wanted to retcon that, so they wanted to have Damian Priest win the feud, so they end up doing an ambulance match. It's like, what are we doing? We're doing too much. Like, I'm going to be honest, I'm more interested in JD and Finn than I am Dom and Finn, because for one, they didn't tease that feud a million times in the past 3 years. That's one of them. Like, I just don't care. So I may not review the Finn Balor and Dom shit as much, depending on how interested I am. But if they're going to continue this road where Dominic beats down Finn Balor beats him up, gets the upper hand, if they're going to do that every single week, yeah, I'm not going to really cover this feud because I already don't care. So the fact that they're already prolonging this is only making it worse. Now we finally get the main event. We end up getting the OTC and we end up getting the Usos. Roman Reigns end up wanting the Usos to come out with him during his entrance. And he ends up basically saying that family is important and basically mentioning that they're stronger together and they're weak without each other and that they need to come back together and be together again. He ends up saying that he's asking them to be together as a family, as a group, as equals, and he's not asking them to be together in the sense of I'm their leader, I'm trying to control them, and this is not basically as what he once was before. Things are different now. They end up siding with Roman Reigns. Then you end up getting Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu comes out. He basically is like, look, I want that title. I want what you have. He's like, look, I'm not trying to be the tribal chief, but I want your championship. I want everything you have. I want your money. I want the shoe deal. I want the cars, the private jets, the money you get, the better schooling. I need all the things you get that comes with being champion, comes with being tribal chief. Roman ends up saying that, look, you probably can beat me. You probably could be the better man in a one-on-one match. But he ends up saying that, but also if you end up losing, he is saying if you end up winning the match, can you handle the burden of being champion? But then he also saying that if you do lose, can you handle the burden that you are going to have to acknowledge me after you lose? Then he ends up saying that he's going to give it 1 week to determine whether or not this match is going to be official for Backlash. And that's the end of the segment. This is great. They're going back to the old reliable nostalgic trope of the bloodline, which you can argue whether or not it's a good thing or bad thing, but one thing WWE knows how to do is that when they typically do bloodline stories, they're typically great for the most part. Yes, do they have low periods? Sure. But typically when Roman Reigns is involved in a bloodline story, it's typically cooked. It typically cooks. So I'm not mad at this. Plus Jacob and Roman, Backlash? Oh man, sign me up. I'm cool with that. Now, Jacob isn't winning, but Jacob is a believable threat to Roman. So I don't mind this all. This is one of those examples of predictable outcome. But this is a good predictable outcome because it's entertaining, plus it's believable. So I like what they did here overall. And also, can you guys stop getting mad? Stop doing this thing with the Usos and Roman where Roman has to apologize, it's very weird and it doesn't make logical sense. Roman has already acknowledged his bad doings and his wrong ways already. Just because he didn't say, I'm sorry, that doesn't mean he didn't feel bad or doesn't apologize for it. He already admit his wrongdoings before. Also, the Usos have never wanted an apology for Roman. They never said out their mouths that they needed an apology. Their issue was just Roman mistreating them and treating them like they weren't human. That was their issue. That was it. It's not them going backwards, siding with Roman, because their issue was how he was treating them. He's treating them like they're fucking human beings now. That was their issue. That's all they ever wanted and ever needed from Roman was treat them with respect. That's all they wanted. So this idea that their characters are going backwards because they didn't get a fucking apology, it doesn't make sense. Y'all made that up in y'all own heads that they needed an apology when the Usos have never said that. They just wanted simple respect. That's all they ever wanted, and now they're getting it. Overall show, I thought was great. This was an overall show. There's really nothing to really complain about here. The only thing I really have an issue with personally is really the Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio stuff continuing. But other than that, this was a great show from top to bottom. And also Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, you need to change that theme song back. Please change it back. That theme song sucks. I get you may like it, but that theme song is terrible. Plus, it doesn't really fit her character. But overall show was great. You guys let me know your overall thoughts, opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. But yeah, that's it.